Hey, beautiful, how are you doing? Welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time. Hi. Today we're going to be talking about these guys up in prison. Do they like to toss the salad, honey? What is tossing the salad? And are they tops? Are they versatile? Are they bottoms? What is going on with these guys when they be chasing after us gays up in prison, honey? This question was brought on by one Mr. Just Johnny. Shout out to you, honey. He sent a comment like, gosh, what was it? Like, oh gosh, it was like 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry. I have answered one or two, I think two of your questions, two of his questions, but he had wrote like a bunch of questions, and I told him I would get to it along with others. I've been trying to like dance around and answer as many people's questions as well as I can without it being so long. But he had like a bunch of them, and this was one of them. He had said, "Are the guys who approach the queens tops, verse, or weirdos like the tossing the salad guy?" I don't. I mean, to each his own. What you find is weird, but it depends. You have everything is basically the short answer. So for those of y'all that are like, oh, Lucky, always take 10 years to explain something, would you just give us the answer and like call it a day? You have all of them. You have everybody up in prison. So bye. Have a nice day. Thank you for clicking. I hope you have a nice day. For everybody that likes to chill and just like chat for a second, I will explain the variations of how these guys go. Now, because it's, of course, it's not just a simple kind of answer. It is, but it isn't. As far as queens go, this strange thing, this is why I always say, like, prison is so backwards from the real world. Because out here, gay guys are matched up with other gay guys. It doesn't matter the variation of their masculinity to femininity ratio or whatever. Gays get with other gays. You see all types. You see masculine and feminine guys together. You see two feminine guys together. You see two masculine guys together. You see a feminine guy that is topping a masculine guy. Like, you can really see anything and everything inside of the actual gay community. I love it. I love the gay community. But in prison, everything is backwards. It's flipped. Queens such as myself, a feminine gay guy, and a transgender female, a person that is transitioning into being a woman, they attract straight guys, guys who have girlfriends, guys that had girlfriends, guys that still identify themselves as straight. You actually had like queens. I knew queens that would get with guys that made them cover the queen, that would make the queen cover themselves up. Like when they were doing the deed, they had to cover it with a towel. They didn't touch the queen in that area at all. Didn't even want to acknowledge it. It was always doggy style, meaning you couldn't even see it. They didn't want to feel nothing slapping them back, nothing. It is they're trying to imagine that you're a woman. If you make female noises while you're doing it, all the better. Like, it's really crazy. It's really weird. So it's funny when you see so many, like me, I see so many comments from other straight guys that would be like, any straight guy that chases a gay person or gets with a gay person is not straight. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how they rationalize it in their mind. They don't, you know, it's just something that you can't understand unless you actually go through it. Now, does every guy do this? No. There is plenty of guys that do time, don't hook up with nobody, and get out. Whether they have somebody on the outside or not, it's on the person. But you also, equally so, have plenty of guys that do hook up with a guy while they're locked up, and they don't see themselves as gay. They don't see what they're doing as gay, and you can't tell them differently. And they come out, they get with girls, nobody knows anything, no harm, no foul. What does it matter? And what does it really matter to them? They don't care that you think that it's gay. They don't. They know that they're straight. They want to be with a woman, but at the same time they wanted to get their rocks off, so they just imagine that this person was a woman, a female replacement. I swear to you, and it's not even like this is kind of like a rare case that every now and then you come across a guy like that when you're locked up. That is the normal case. That is the normal pool of guys that are coming at you, coming at me. Like majority, almost all the guys, even Boss, for example. Boss actually did acknowledge himself as like bisexual, and he said that the way he was in there, he was like that outside. Like he kind of just liked any and everything and everybody. He was really a booty bandit. I've said this in prior videos. Boss was actually like a booty bandit for real. I actually had gotten with a booty bandit. I mean, for such a short amount of time that I spent in there, I certainly got involved with it all. Like, I mean, if there was something that you can experience in prison, I definitely did it. Almost gangbanged, had hooked up with somebody on death row, the freaking assault charges, even had a healing session with like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the experience that I had up in there. But I think that it's just normal because it's a small community. Everybody knows everybody. You're going to come across every type of scenario, especially if you're a gay person. But anyway, so that is how it is for Queens. Most of the guys that are coming at you are tops, to give a shorter answer. They're tops. A lot of guys, they don't even want to do anything with you other than have you service them on your knees, and not all guys that try to get with you want to bang you. Like some of them, they just want the blowjob, the BJ. And then others, yeah, they're trying to get up in there and all of this stuff, even though they don't view it as gay. They're not trying to toss no salad. That is gross to them. They're not gay. That's why I didn't like guys like that. I wasn't hooking up with any guys like that because that is irritating to me. And where is the fun in that? Where is the enjoyment in that for me? Just because you got a stick? Sticks are a dime a dozen. Suckers are a dime a dozen. Okay? Like, it was not for me, but it's for a lot of queens. That's like the common queen ends up with a guy like that. Okay? Now, where it starts to get a little bit versatile is where you're kind of digging into the jungle a little bit. For example, I actually did attract a lot of guys, to my surprise. This is not something that I thought would have happened. It kind of caught me by surprise. But as time went on, it did make sense to me why this is what it was. But I actually did attract a lot of closeted, submissive, masculine guys. Like, I had thought maybe Cam was one, but he wasn't. Cam is a bona fide top, honey. But he's just really cool in the sense that he's like a guy that he doesn't like. Even though I play and we joke around with each other, like there's people in the comments, they be like, girl this, and sis, and things like that. Honey, whatever, you know what I'm saying, homegirl. I love it. I love it. I love it. You're speaking my lingo. We see each other. Like, I love it. But Cam doesn't like that kind of stuff. And even then, it'll be I can't wait for him to get out and we're doing this together because it's going to be such an adjustment for him. For anyone that doesn't know, by the way, Cam is my fiance. He's still in there. Free Cam, hashtag free Cam. We're trying to get him out. And he hates when I like refer to myself, even in joking ways, like in a feminine manner. Call myself the B word. Like I could even be like, yo, I'm head bitch in charge, and he'd be like, you're not. He'd be like, head dude in charge. It's like, relax, Cam. Like, relax. It's just a joke. But he's been in there since he was 16. He has an old fashioned way of thinking. And also he never liked the whole queen thing, girls. Like, he sees everybody in there as guys, He respects the fact that he understands their position, but he doesn't get down with it. That's why he's picky, as a matter of fact. Like, he's picky about who he would get with before we had met, in a similar way as I am, which is pretty cool. And he never saw it as He's my husband and I'm his wife. He always thinks of us as two guys. We are two gay guys, you know? And I love it. I'm just slightly more feminine. This is him. I would clearly be straight up with y'all and be like, yeah, he's masculine and I'm feminine. But like to hear him tell it, he'd be like, yeah, he's a little bit more feminine than me. But then even then he'd be quick to be like, but I got my ways, you know? Because he likes to decorate. Like he was the one who decorated our cell and stuff. He was the one who actually cleaned up everything. I did, the house, the house. What is it? What the heck? The housewife duties, the Susie homemaker duties. I would wash our clothes, fold our clothes, do the dishes. But he cooked a lot of the time, or we would share it. And he cleaned, but that's just because he's a really clean person anyway. Like I know he cleans up the cell now where he's at. He just always is the person that cleans, because he likes things a specific kind of way. He's kind of finicky and picky and stuff. I'm getting way up. It don't take much to get me talking about Cam, but anyway, I go all into detail about him to say that Cam is still just very much a guy. He's just gay, and I'm just so lucky and blessed, thank you God, that he loves me so much. But there are plenty of masculine guys, similar like Cam, in there that you'd be surprised are closet bottoms. Just like out here. Out here, it's very normal for, depending upon your area, but nowadays you really could find any type of person just about anywhere. But especially in more urban or city, more populated areas, it's definitely not uncommon at all to come across a masculine gay guy that loves to be a bottom, loves to be a catcher, a receiver, honey, loves to take it up the butthole. I've had too much sugar and coffee. But anyway, in prison, that is not acceptable. Something that I kind of had learned is that being gay in prison is actually not tolerated. The only reason that it kind of goes, it's acceptable the way that it is because of the illusion that I tried to explain to y'all over and over and over again. They don't see this as gay. It's these female imposters. It's almost like we're jokes. To the people that don't engage in this, they still have like a tolerance for it, almost like they'll turn a blind eye because they don't view it as like these people are gay. They see it as like, oh my gosh, these guys think that they're girls, or these guys act like they're girls, or they actually remind me of girls. So it gets like a pass. But somebody like me would be less likely to come across like aggression than say somebody like Cam, which I didn't realize just how truthful of a fact that is until I was out and I had seen how much difficulty Cam was having adjusting now that he was known as a gay person, because people were trying to like understand him. They're like, what's the deal with you? You're clearly not a queen. You don't act feminine. There were some guys that tried to test him. He would even tell me about it, like booty banded guys that thought that because I had a beard that obviously Cam and I were tagging each other and stuff, and they tried him, but it didn't end well, and therefore then it made a lot of guys uncomfortable around Cam in there because they don't like gayness. They see, oh, you're a masculine dude and you're gay, I don't want you around me. Like, worse than say somebody like me. The same person that probably was giving Cam a hard time, I could have been around and they would have been fine. But it goes both ways though, because then at the same time there were people that they used to treat me some kind of way because I made them feel so uncomfortable, but then they'd be cool with Cam, so you find both. But anyway, being that I had a beard, I confused a lot of people. Like, queens are very one-dimensional. Everything about prison is very cut and dry, black and white. It's this way or that way. It's just how it is. It's what makes sense. It's the order of operations and the straight-up standard across the board. So someone like me who refused to actually like conform to the norm, it messed with people somewhat. Not big time, but kinda, you know. I didn't pee sitting down. That was a sign of like blatant masculinity to people, even though I'm genetically born this way. But people in prison are stupid, and they're just used to a specific way of life as it relates to everybody, you know. And me, I play my part. I'm a queen. I'm an obviously feminine person. So that translates as you are the female of this society. Why are you peeing while standing up? You're trying to show a form of masculinity in some kind of way. This is how it was interpreted. To me, I'm just being normal. I've always peed this way. The facial hair, that was a blatant sign of masculinity to people. Um, Other things, like the fact that I jogged, you know, I didn't tailor my clothes to have it snugged. Even like this shirt, this is loose for queens up in there. They would have that thing like literally the way that it is for girls. And then they'd wear bras, or they'd stuff their shirts, they'd stuff their jeans, they'd have that all tailored. You know, I wear my stuff kind of loose. So for the people that it didn't necessarily mess them up in the head, others, they took it as some sort of sign that I'm sending a signal like, hey, I'm versatile. So I actually would attract masculine guys that would be trying to get me to, you know, go up in them. But the thing that was kind of sucky about it is I was already with Cam. So, you know, it was okay because I am very satisfied. I mean, I wish he was out. I'd be obviously even more satisfied. But even with waiting, I am very, very satisfied with Cam. I have a wonderful sex life. I'm in love with the guy, and I have no wants for nothing. Okay, but he is a top. So I just want to reiterate that. But I happen to have attractive guys like that. So you have guys like that. You have guys in prison that they do like to be a bottom, but they want it privately. They want it secretly. And it's more likely that they have secret hookups with whoever. And even Cam told me about different things, like guys that had approached him that they don't like the queens, but they like masculine guys. But you wouldn't have known that they were like that. I told him that there was guys like that. It's bizarre to me sometimes how he's been in there since he was 16, and some of these things he'd be figuring out for the first time. But it goes to show he was telling the truth all this time when he would say like he really wasn't that involved in it like how I thought. And he used to tell me this all the time. I didn't believe him because he's so beautiful and he was so young when he went in, but he's a very masculine person like Cam, and he's a very angry. He's calmed down a lot since we've been together, but he had been and still can be sometimes a very like angry and hostile person. You know, but it's really just kind of like a front, because underneath he's just a sweetheart. Like he really is just a very much a sweetheart, but outwardly to most people, I don't think he'll be like that with y'all when he comes out, but you know, in prison, obviously, outwardly to most people, he's just kind of like a jerk, kind of, you know, like a very aggressive, tough, just insensitive asshole. You know, but he's cool at the same time. You know, I don't know. He's just a guy, I guess, just like a regular guy. But then you have your freaky people. The people that are freaks, those would be considered trade in prison. In prison, you have trade. It's good-looking guys that are not feminine. They're the gay guys, basically. They're actually just the gay guys of prison that are bold enough to come out of the closet. The criticism, the intolerance, be damned. It don't really matter. And they kind of get with any and everybody. Like, they get with queens. They be getting with their homeboys. They be hooking up with the booty bandits. Some of them do become booty bandits. You really don't know what they be doing. They kind of do everything. They're versatile, basically. There's not a lot of guys like that in there, but they definitely do exist. And usually they're good-looking like masculine gay guys is usually what they are. Like if you're a good looking guy that's masculine, um, chances are if you were to go to prison, you might become trade because you're approached by twice as many people as I would have been. Me as a queen, I was ambushed by a lot of guys, but as I've told you in so many different videos, I was approached by guys that typically would have been straight on the outside and view themselves as straight. I am their woman. They see me as a replacement for their girl in the meantime. You know, that's the type of guys I would have been approached by. That's it, really. Whereas somebody like that, they would have those type of guys that they could fool around with. You know, guys, it's like, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. A guy like that would be more comfortable giving hand jobs, maybe even blowjobs to him, because it's like one homeboy to another, versus doing it with somebody like me. Because technically, in their mind, in their twisted mind, I shouldn't even have one of these things. You know what I'm saying? It's like weird to them. Prison is just a twisted place, y'all. That's why it's very hard to explain it sometimes, because it's so different, like, from out here. The social norms, the mindsets, the logic, and just the culture, you know, like the culture of it is just so different. It's very weird. But that's how people, they have a hard time adjusting, not only when you go in, but then when you come back out. That's why there's a lot of people that they have a difficult time readjusting to society, because you honestly were living on a different planet, speaking an entirely different language, living in a culture that is absolutely nothing like this culture out here, you know? I mean, maybe not absolutely nothing like, but very different. So, that's the long answer of it all, but the short answer, obviously, is you have everybody up in there. You got your weirdos, you got everybody. But the most common type of guys that approach queens in prison are straight dudes. Like, legit. And they don't want to be flipping pancakes, nothing like that. Interesting fun fact, and then I'm gone. It was more common for transgender females, ironically, to come across a guy that wants to flip pancakes than maybe like somebody like me. And me, the only reason I was able to attract guys like that is because of my facial hair. I was sending people a signal. But like if I wasn't a transgender person and I was still gay the way that I am, but I had to have conformed like a normal queen does. I had to have been completely clean shaven, shaved all my legs and stuff like that, tailored my clothes and tucked my stuff and everything, peed while sitting down. I would probably have just attracted a guy that maybe had a girlfriend on the outside and treated me 100% like a girl. I would have to cover my junk up and everything, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but a transgender female, a lot of the queens that I knew that were in transition, not all of them, but almost all of them would have a story or would be in the process of being involved with somebody where it's like they're caught off guard by it. And most transgender people are disgusted by it. Like, they are women, so they want to just be treated like a woman. They're not trying to be going back and forth with their man, you know, like, it would be crazy. And then they'd be putting the guys out on blast. Like, they'd be like, he wanted me to do him, girl. Like, I didn't know I got with a queen. Oh no, I am not trying to be bumping pocketbooks. Like, these are the expressions that they say up in there. Prison is just so crazy. But okay, I'm done, you guys. If you want to see more of me, you can check me out on Patreon. I've been reposting the prison diaries over on Patreon, and then there's always the YouTube memberships. Thank you, Just Johnny, for the question. It's very silly. Gotta go, the train's coming. Love you guys. Bye.